Does it work? There it is. Call the meeting to order, the Park and Rec Advisory Commission meeting, our first meeting of 2024. And we'll do the roll call.
Commissioner Courtney?
Here.
Commissioner D'Amico?
Here.
Vice Chair Tenscher?
Here.
Chair Shemaine?
Here. Okay, can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Welcome if we have any viewers at home and just those that are here. Adoption, our last meeting that we had, or the agenda for today, for the November, I guess the 18th of this. Is there a motion to go ahead and adopt our agenda for tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nope. Okay. We'll go moving right along to the approval of our meeting minutes, which is it's hard to believe it's 4 months ago, our last meeting, because we didn't have our November meeting. So these are from September 21st of 2023. Just any changes or corrections on anything from anyone on those?
I saw none.
I didn't see anything either. Okay. Is there a motion to go ahead and approve our meeting minutes from September 21st, 2023?
So moved.
Okay, thank you. That passes on. Item 6, any public comments? Anything?
We've received no public comment.
Thank you. Item number 7, our go ahead with our administrative and regular items on the calendar here.
Nope, we have none tonight. We just have staff informational reports tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
Then on to 8A, and I know that's going to go head over to Rosalba.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Good to see everybody again. I'll be going over a presentation. I wanted to include a presentation instead of just talking about the projects we completed, because I do like showing some of the pictures from the field. And this will be kind of a recap of what we've completed so far in this fiscal year. So it's a combination of various capital improvement projects and what I call small construction projects that are more not necessarily the large scale of capital improvements, but items that we can do with smaller contractors or in-house. Next slide. And so the first part of the completed projects of this fiscal year includes a combination of both CIPs and smaller projects. The first one that I kind of show there in one of the pictures is the safety fence at the Toy on Tot lot. This was a request to try to prevent some of the users of that space from running out into the street. So that fence was actually constructed by our own staff. So we have, which decreases the cost when we do it in-house. We just buy the material and then they spend some time out there. So we have a lot of expert staff out there building this fence, which you'll see looks very similar to the fence that's now at the gates on the creek at, I believe, Mulberry. So they also constructed those new fence gates that are there. So very similar. And then we went through our regular CIP projects, which we have every year, addressing some ADA accessibility issues at various locations. So that's usually lifted sidewalks or tripping hazards or things that we notice that need to be fixed at sidewalks within parks, sidewalks in front of public facilities, different issues like that. So we have the picture there is from Forester Park. And so we did fix issues at Forester Park, Veterans Park, Vanderler Park, and at the community center. And the contractor we had on there, you might not notice that there were repairs because they were able to match the existing color of concrete pretty well. So that was really nice to see. Project we just finished right before the rainy season really started was resurfacing the playground at North Park. And so if you go up there now, it all looks very new and very, very cushiony. What they do is they repair the edges, so they'll take that actual foam out, but for everything else, they place another layer on top of it. So now it has even more cushion on it and will last us another handful of years and looks really nice. So we do have in future projects kind of scheduled to figure out our planning for the other playgrounds, but that North Park one is complete and is open to the public. Vine Trail maintenance. So this one isn't necessarily specifically a sidewalk or trail system within our parks, but it is a recreation facility. And so that entrance we did a segment of it, one of the worst segments that we saw on the Vine Trail from Weber. It's on either side of Weber. It was about 100 feet. We had our contractor go out and remove the asphalt and put some rebar down and put concrete, also colored concrete. So it's not your white concrete. It kind of matches the asphalt on either sides. So that was done, and we got some really good feedback from that. And our goal is to do some sort of maintenance on the trail every year in segments. So one, we don't close down the entire trail for a long period of time to do the repairs, but we're able to tackle the different segments of the trail. And the next project that you'll see, I don't have a picture here, but I'm sure you've seen them at the various parks, are the big belly compacting trash bins. So we received those from the grant, and we installed those. Our staff put them together and then installed those. So those are working out pretty well so far. And with possibly future grants, we might get more compacting trash bins to put out at different locations. And maintenance-wise, so far they're pretty easy for our staff to go up to, open the gate, take out the trash, and put in new lining. So that's been really well received as well. Next slide, please. Some project updates. Projects that are kind of in process. The community center restroom counter. So the concrete countertops at both restrooms, male and female restrooms in the community center. If you've noticed, they look kind of worn and a little stained. We've had a project this year to try to replace those, but it is a little difficult to find a contractor that does that concrete and tile replacement and plumbing. And because it's just 2 restrooms, it's not a large enough project to really get a lot of contractors to come out. But we finally did find one. We have them under contract. And now we're just trying to finalize, get all that contract completely signed, and get them going so we can get those countertops replaced. So that should be happening soon. Shade structure at the community center. That one is in progress under art review. So it's not, you might not see any work happening. It's becoming more of a, how do we include an aesthetic component to the community center to be inviting and still provide that shade. So that's being worked on with various departments. And hopefully an update will be brought at some point soon within the next few months. The enclosed barbecue area for storage at the community center, so that old barbecue area between community hall and community center, that one's currently indefinitely on hold. There's some different ideas on what that space could really be utilized for. So before we go ahead and just convert it into storage, we wanted to get some input ideas on could it be something better or used for something more. So that one's currently on hold. And now for the unfortunate update. The Vineyard Park Enhancement Project, we did not get the grant, the LWCF that we applied for. I included, and you can't really see it clearly, but that QR code takes you to the list of projects that were awarded. And if you read the descriptions of those projects, it's kind of clear that the size of our town, the residents we have, we're not underprivileged, and kind of our project wasn't really a good runner-up for this grant. And it is difficult finding grants because of our size and because we're not underprivileged. So still keeping an eye out for a good grant. It's still in our budget, so we still probably move forward with different components of it. And once we kind of get an idea of what components to move forward with, we'll bring that update as well. We're tackling small components of Vineyard Park, so the pickleball courts. We're putting those gates up in the pickleball courts. So right now we're working on that and hope to have those installed within the next couple of months. Next slide, please. More project updates. Washington Street parking lot beautification. That project we applied for a couple different grants, didn't receive them because again, we're a larger town with more components to it, probably would get these grants, but because we're so small, it's difficult. But we do have that project budgeted, and what we are planning on doing there isn't still set in concrete. We're not quite sure, but we do have the survey information, so we're able to put a couple different designs and layouts to see what will fit there, what will work, to try to utilize that space as best as possible. The pump house at Vandeleur Park, that's to not only relocate that pump house that has roots lifting it up, but to also try to improve the irrigation landscaping components and potentially put the infrastructure for future at least 1 or 2 charging stations there for parking. So that has a couple different components in there, which the charging station requires PG&E coordination, so that kind of extends the project time, but we could phase it out a bit. So that one you'll be hearing more about in the future as well. shade structure at North Park. So that shade structure is going to be more of a for-use shade structure. The area is very beautiful already. We want to just provide those most likely shade cells to really create the shade needed. That is still trying to find the right designer for it, company for it, because a lot of the companies that will install shade cells, because they require poles, there's a minimum size requirement for it to be beneficial and profitable for them. So right now it's coordinating with one consultant that we found, one shade cell manufacturer, and see, is this area big enough for them to come and take a look and provide a quote. So hopefully we'll have some updates on that in the future, soon in the future as well. And for the other update that I won't say unfortunate, just more controversial, Forester Park and Three Rivers Park, ADA improvements. So that one, we have the CASP ADA consultant on contract to officially start doing the review of our existing ADA transition plan, focusing on our parks and the programs we provide at these parks to see what is required or suggested for ADA compliance at Three Rivers and Forester Park. So once we have that work done, their contract, it expires in June. So we will have various updates between now and June. And then that will kind of dictate what we end up moving forward with at that location. Next slide. And I think that was it. So if any comments or questions, I can answer them or at least get information back to you.
I had a question about the Washington Street parking. For some reason, I'm not exactly sure where that is. Could you clarify that for me, please?
Very south end of town on Washington Street, the gravel area, just south of Veterans Park, across from the church. So it's used primarily right now for parking or for miscellaneous B-bus parking or different things. But because it's a pretty nice area, I feel like it could be utilized for something more. And so the town's trying to find what it could be used for.
At the Veterans Park where the AD unit was put in there, is that is that something that the folks at Washington Park would, have they looked at that set up there to see if that would work if it's a possibility at Forester? Or is it a whole different setup?
It's a little bit more complicated. That type of parking was one of the options, or the pull-in parking or parallel parking, one of the options presented. And so it was in the various meetings, it kind of went back and forth on what people preferred, what people liked. I think right now the feedback is get the ADA consultant, the expert, to review and tell us if anything is even needed. Because I think that was more of the desire from the residents that were able to attend the meetings, is that they wanted to not have any type of work done that would encroach on the landscaping or the feel of the park. So,
The old neighborhood years ago, so I understand that who you're dealing with. Yeah.
and it's a very beautiful area. So,
But it's not utilized that much either. I don't think there's a comparison to other parks there.
Yeah.
Forester especially. Thanks. Anybody else have any questions for Rosalba?
If I could,
Yeah.
on Three Rivers, I wasn't sure if you were talking about Forester or Three Rivers. And I'm not privy to the background, so this conversation's been going on for quite some time, and so it's still up in the air whether that's going to happen or not, because I think I figured out what the options were. There's like a carve out, and there were a couple options.
yeah.
What, in your estimation, when will we know whether they're going to add or just kind of abandon? Is that February?
Not February. So I would ideally like to have updates between now and June, which is when the contract expires for the ADA consultant. I'm hoping that they have finalized their review ahead of June so we can bring it in sooner to the council and let them know if that ADA consultant decided that no facilities need to be required at these parks. If the ADA consultant determines no facilities need to be required, there's a good chance that project won't move forward. If they decide that ADA facilities do need to be required, then we need to try to find a way to provide those facilities through this project, the Three Rivers Forester Park project, with either the option that were presented or go back and find another option. So hopefully before June, the ADA consultant we hired will have their review done and we can move forward with the project, either end it or keep it going.
I had one more question on, I saw you and perhaps the contractor looking at the gates or screening at the pickleball courts. Can you just in words kind of tell me where you ended up? There's going to be 2 gates, one on each side of the north-south area. So pickleball courts run this way, and there's a fence dividing the front 2 and back 2 courts. There's going to be a gate on each side. What's going to happen in the area?
Adjacent to it. So we'd also want to put a gate on one side and then complete the fence on the other side. There's 2 gaps on either side of that bench.
Yes.
So we want to put a gate on one and then a fence on the other. And then underneath the bench won't be a fence, but I think we have an idea of type of material to put on there that's heavier, that you could still maybe maintain that area underneath it by, pushing maybe a sweeper or something to clean it off, but the balls should stop when they hit it. So that's kind of our approach to that.
Good. Yeah. In drying the courts, when the courts are wet, to be able to, move the water off the courts and from underneath that bench is a good thing, because it tends to flow from the tennis courts onto the pickleball courts.
Yeah. So we won't put anything that will be a hard surface underneath that bench that'll prevent the water from moving.
Yeah.
But it will be something that's firm enough to stop the balls from rolling
Right.
into each court.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. If there are no other questions, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Alba. Next, we get to go to Samantha for Parks and Rec master plan updates.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this on the screen. There we go. Yes, so I don't have a long update, but I thought this could be kind of a standing thing as I have information to share. But the sharing is basically that the council did approve the master plan, and with the very few additions to it, which was terrific. Thank you for those of you who were able to attend or maybe watched. And so the next steps and how we move forward is, especially now that we're entering into the budget development part of our year, is we'll be obviously trying to implement those things as we move forward. So I'll bring updates back to you as I have them. But we have a document now that's terrific, and we're having hard copies printed. So one will live in the library here at Town Hall and Community Center, but it's obviously a document that's available online to anybody. And then we're also having a council goal setting retreat on the 30th. And so, they're well aware of what's in the plan too, as they're talking about those things moving forward. So that was my update. I appreciate all of the work and time that you all spent on assisting us moving that forward. So thank you.
You did most of it. You did, I feel like you didn't do as much, just give you some input, but it was
Nice
wonderful.
that it was well received.
Yes,
yeah.
it definitely was. Yes.
I don't know how they could have not approved it, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so in-depth.
I was
in things.
hoping that wouldn't
Yes,
happen. So,
great.
yeah.
Oh, moving right along, so back to result. Oh, sure, absolutely.
I noticed and have contacted you all about the nets that you're
Yes, we just got them yesterday, so we put in the work order, and you should see the replacement going up, I would hope, this week. Yeah. So Public Works has them, and they'll be out there. Yeah. Yes.
appreciate you moving so quickly.
And we ordered a backup one too, so we'll place the one that's bad, and then if it will be able to react quicker next time you request it. Okay, great. Yeah, just keep me updated. Yeah. Yep. So I'll just move in. Oh, do you want to go? It's you. Sorry, not me.
Yeah, resolve it. Back to resolve it. 8C.
Just kind of some general updates of what kind of going on in the near future for Public Works for Parks and Recreation facilities. We are, like I said, the pickleball court gates. You'll see those soon, hopefully. Brainstorming what type of gate's going to work best there and to not have to drill into the court. We have various projects coming up at different parks, but one thing that we're kind of looking at and trying to improve on different roads are the bike lane facilities. Those aren't necessarily parks, but they're recreation related. So we're hoping to have some coordination with maybe the county in a bigger project, because striping is, if we don't have a big enough project, it can be a very costly component. So coordinating with the county and possibly providing bike facility improvements on our streets. So it's maybe the high visibility green markings, maybe some upgrades to existing bike lane facilities. So we're hoping to have those items moved further along and bring them back to your review maybe at the next meeting. And those wrap up the general updates for Public Works. Thank you.
Any other comments from the commissioners at all? So I have a question on the bike lanes area. Are we talking through Washington? I'm trying to think how, with all the parking, how,
Not Washington. The one that we're currently looking at possibly
bless you.
coordinating with the county is Yountville Crossroads.
Okay.
And then trying to do that connection from the Vine Trail that ends at Washington Street,
Right.
then running along, I believe, Madison,
yeah.
and then up to Yountville Crossroad. How do we safely direct people to there? And then how do we improve those bike facilities on Yountville Crossroad? Now, the very cool thing about this is if we coordinate with the county and it works, it might be an improved bicycle facility from Yon Street to Silverado Trail, which I think is really needed. So that's all right now just in kind of preliminary talks and designs, and it requires that coordination with the county. So hopefully we'll have some positive and exciting news in the next update.
And they're getting ready to repave Yountville Crossroads, so timing-wise, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense on that. Yeah.
the county is, I mean,
Especially the bike lane parts of Yountville Crossroad have deteriorated terribly because when they resurfaced it last time, they didn't resurface the bike lanes, which is curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the safety wide, and they're not that wide, and just how the road is.
Yeah.
And it's a very, and I'm sure it's got to be, it's I know for residents, but in Washington especially, when folks are out riding their bikes on the sidewalks, and but if there's, it's catch-22 because on Washington, it's very tight.
Yeah. And
just
parking and
Parking stuff, yeah. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
I guess we'll go back to Samantha.
back to me and wrap it up. So just our general updates. Our winter spring recreation guide came out in December, and we're a couple weeks in now to our session with all of our classes and events moving forward. So we had a very full rec guide and some new classes and excursions. Obviously, our largest program is Golden Ticket, and we have 185 members, and they're offered over 45 different classes and programs and things to choose from. So we can continue to see a lot of success in that. We have things that we have waiting lists on a lot of classes. So, we're running into the problem now where we just don't have the space, right? So at some point we are at capacity, and it is what it is. But, giving our residents the jump on registration ensures that we're first and foremost serving our residents and encouraging them to get into things. And then non-residents, of course, started 2 weeks later. So that's going really well. And you may have read as well that Jennifer Carvalho announced her retirement. And so we are looking at some potential small restructuring in the department and then some recruitments coming up to try to fill that. So it's been a rough few months for us. It's a lot to balance having a full-time person out for so long. So and we wish her the very best and hope that we'll be able to celebrate her. I still don't know that yet. So I will keep you all updated on that. Obviously, her career was so long with the town that, we want to do, if we can, something to acknowledge her. So I'll keep you posted on that. And then upcoming, we are planning for summer. Pretty much as soon as the holidays are over, we start looking at summer and fall. And then we're also in our budget process. So we're starting to obviously plan for those things that happen from July on. And we are doing our first biannual budget this year. So the town staff are working on the budget for 24-25 and 25-26. So that's a change in process for us and a timeline that kind of got moved up. So we're working, really hard on that change in process. And then, as I said, we'll have some recruitments coming up for our department staff. And I think that's pretty much all I wanted to report on, other than you'll see an invitation coming soon for our board, commission, and volunteer dinner. That'll be on February 22nd this year. And of course, we would love for you all to be there to be acknowledged. But that invitation will be an email invite. So look for that soon. And then I also just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Carol Shermaine for all of her time on the commission. I think it's been 3 terms. Is that right, Carol? Yes.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yeah.
I'm so appreciative of your time, and Carol decided that it's a good time to rotate off the commission, but I didn't want to end without thanking you so much for all of your time and dedication on the commission. Yeah. And then also thank Alan for reapplying and being appointed. And the council also appointed Myrna David to the commission, and so she'll join us at our next meeting. And also at our next meeting, we'll have to appoint a new chair and vice chair. And then we'll also have a couple of other perfunctory things. Carol represents the commission on the Town of Yountville Community Foundation. So we'll have to appoint a new member to that as well. So if you have any questions or interest in any of those, reach out to me and we'll discuss it at our next meeting.
Also on that one too, I was thinking that, talking about the shade, because Vince and I, we had the one meeting,
Oh, on the shade structure.
shade
Yeah.
structure, so that was
So
we just had that one
we'll
so far.
point someone else to that as well. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you, Carol. Really appreciate all of your time and
Yeah,
dedication.
it's time for some new blood coming in.
Yeah. And we are still recruiting. We have the one position that wasn't filled yet, the regular position, and then still the student representative. So I've made some direct contacts. Hey, you should apply for this, but have not been successful at this point. So
I've seen it on Facebook. I saw this week too.
Hillary and Bee have really been pushing it as
Good.
well. So we'll keep trying. Yeah. I really am trying to encourage, we do still have youth in our community to get some parents
Right.
on the
Yeah.
commission as well. So another parent with a kid in school or, coming up through the community. So I've reached out, I know through Little League, some of the families that do live here. So, but haven't got anybody to commit yet. So we'll keep trying.
So hopefully you'll have somebody in by March.
Hopefully.
That's
We're trying.
We do have an ad that will run in the Sun next week
Okay,
with a
yeah.
QR code directly to the application. So we'll hit that outlet and then keep routinely posting it until it is filled.
Yeah, we'll keep trying.
you'll find somebody for sure. You'll have probably multiple applicants that will come in for it.
Yeah, all we have to say is someday we'll have a dog park and maybe all the applications will come in.
That's what I
Or a swimming pool.
Or a swimming
thought that
pool.
the dog park, that would have been that there were folks that are really interested.
Well, that's very
That would have been a draw.
prominent in the master plan. That's not far out. That is definitely a goal.
Anyone's
So,
listening that's thinking
yes,
about that.
dog park. Yeah,
for that.
subliminal messaging. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm happy to answer any questions or provide more information.
And also, it was from Kathy Ainsworth, too, because she couldn't be here tonight.
Oh,
But today,
yes. I'm so
she
sorry.
This was her first term.
Yeah.
So
I thank you, Carol.
Yes.
That was remiss of me. Kathy Ainsworth isn't able to be here, but she also, I'd like to thank her publicly for her term as well. And hopefully we can acknowledge her as well at the Board and Commission dinner.
Could you talk to me? I remember when Paul stepped down, I thought he termed out, and I've always thought there were term limits for this. So could you explain that? If there are any limits, whether it matters whether you're chair or not chair, to that effect? Thank you.
Yes. So I believe there in the bylaws, there are not technical term limits. We are supposed to rotate the chair position every year if there is someone willing. If there's not, then the chair resumes. So, because we can't be without a chair. So, yeah. But as far as, I don't recall there being any type of actual term limit. No.
I'm just recalling from when I started in 18, Sandy Fagan was the chair, and Paul was vice chair. And then when Paul became chair, then I became the co.
Yeah, vice chair.
That's just a transition that I went through with the members that were on at that point.
Yeah, more. I was just interested.
Yeah.
How long somebody.
Well, I thought, I'm not sure either.
You can stay forever, Alan.
Forever.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hillary just verified on the bylaws. That's correct. Yeah.
It's nice that you have that at your fingertips, literally.
I'm assuming that's for all the commissions then, the same bylaws, or is that
The
just?
bylaws do differ commission to
Okay.
commission.
Yeah. I know Yountville Arts specifically doesn't have a term limit, obviously, because Rhonda's been on it as long as I've been here. But but I'm not sure about the others. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Samantha, can you say more about the now 2-year budget process? I mean, what made the decision to project forward for a 2-year process? And is the reorganization related to decisions to sort of not hire new people, or I mean, is there a
Yeah.
sense that? Yeah, I'm just curious to know
Yeah.
what the
The
reorganization.
thought process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the budget question, we have a new town manager, and he's comes from, different background, and that's something that he was really interested in implementing. And the goal is because, well, 1 year we'll budget, and the next year the council will focus on goal setting so that we have then a year to budget for the new goals. So we'll hopefully get into this cycle of that. And it really, we in theory have, the lights go off over there because no one's walking. We, in theory, will have like 3 mid-years to do updates as we need to. So, it is a learning curve for those of us, especially me, who's been here forever. And I did not, in my past, I've not had a 2-year budget cycle anywhere I've worked. So, but that is the town manager's thought process, is that 1 year we'll focus on the budget. The next year, we'll focus on goal setting, budget, goal setting. So it's kind of a process instead of trying to work through both really at the same time with the boards and commissions and the council. So that's the thought process on that. The reorganization is not to cut back at all. It's just really looking at, Jennifer had been with our department for so long that, it's just a good opportunity for other team members to see, hey, I might want to try that, or I might want to try that. And in no way is it to scale back staffing. In fact, we are moving forward asking for another full-time position in this new budget year. And that would actually bring us back to our 6 full-time we had prior to the pandemic. And I have a lot of support for that already. So yeah, it's not to scale back. It's just to move program areas around and really looking at, for me, it's looking at the health of the department long term. Like, what is a structure that makes sense moving forward? So
Great.
yeah, does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay, perfect.
Can I make one more comment about pools?
Absolutely.
So I noticed in the paper after the master plan was adopted that the headline said dog park and pool.
Yeah.
It was like, so I'm thinking, well, and so I've had my eye open. So the I don't know if you're aware, but I because of the way the pools have been working around here, and like we have the pickleball guy right there, Alan, and me, the pool guy.
Yep.
So I belong to 3 masters teams just to have consistent workouts.
Yeah.
So I've gotten around.
To move
So
around,
there's
yeah.
St. Helena, which just got was closed for 3 months, and now it's reopened.
The high school. Mm-hmm.
High school. Napa College closes from November to February, just I think to save money. And so I've been out in Sonoma swimming.
Oh, interesting.
They have a pretty interesting model. So they have something called splash.org, and it's a partnership between the city, the school district, and I think the Parks and Recs or a nonprofit in the city. And they actually have created I think what looks like a pretty sustainable program out there, because they have, there's stuff going on 7 days a week. The pool's in use, and
Is it on school district
people love it.
property?
It's on the high school campus. It's actually more getting to it is you have to go through the parking lot of the high school to get to it. St. Helena is a little bit easier to get to that way because it's off the road. But they're almost identical pools, and so I thought, it might be interesting for. I guess it would be a subcommittee or somebody to kind of look at, could we do something like that with the city of St. Helena, Yountville, maybe a nonprofit or some kind of arrangement that would allow for, somebody to kind of spearhead a program, not me, out there in St. Helena, so that pool is really utilized, it's maintained well, they don't have to close it for maintenance things that shouldn't be happening. It could really make that facility over there useful to the communities around Yountville, St. Helena, and maybe even Calistoga. It's about the same distance from there to Calistoga. So I just wanted to bring it up because we've talked about it.
Yeah, I can do a little research too and just see. I know that the pool and maintenance is under the school district there, and then they contract out to like Waves Aquatics,
Right.
and they run it. But I'm not sure. I can talk with their Parks and Rec director too on like, well, what is it? Is there a connection here? So
Yeah, and I'm sure they know about Splash, what they're doing out there,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they've really thought about, could we do this here?
yeah.
They even give scholarships to kids with
Yeah,
some of
that's
the
great.
revenue. So it's a pretty cool model.
Yeah, I'll do some research on that
Okay.
and see. Thank you for bringing that up.
There's to say, good luck with your refilling your positions for the Park and Rec Department. I mean, because that's the program that's the glue to the town, the residents, and now we have a lot of non-residents that are, enjoying the park, the golden ticket, but enjoying pickleball and music from the park. I mean, everything that we
Yeah.
have going on there. So I don't know how the last few months, but it's been for all of you.
I don't
losing
either.
Jen.
No. It's a huge impact. Absolutely
Right.
huge.
It's just
it's a
thank
huge
goodness
loss for
here
us.
It's been there for been with the part with the doing the camps. For a number of years he did them as it, and then
Taylor.
Taylor that's grown up.
Yeah,
working
I
with
could
the
not. I
parks.
mean, absolutely, my team has stepped up
Yeah.
in ways that I never imagined. So I could not. We could not have made it through the last several months
Now
without.
you're building attendance. I mean, you've got
Yeah, as a whole, all of our team.
right.
Yeah,
It's remarkable.
which makes me very proud, but also very excited to have full staffing again. So,
Yes,
yeah. So that's on the horizon. Yeah.
it'll work out. It'd be a great place to work if anyone's got the Park and Rec, the background.
I agree.
Yes. Okay. Commissioners, item number 9. Anybody have anything else? Kind of gone through things. No, that's okay. We were commenting on those things. There was all of that part. No? Okay, I guess. Oh, my gosh. This is, I think, in 6 years, this is a record. Can go ahead and adjourn our meeting, and it's almost, let's call it 6:40 p.m. Thank you.